Hello and welcome everybody. What is going on? So as I mentioned, I was going to do a Euros video today, and the reason for that is quite simple because the Euros, they start tomorrow / today, technically today because it's, well, I don't know if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, so yeah. The Euros start today, and of course it's going to be quite interesting to see who's going to go through now that we're at the round of 16. So it's going to be quite interesting to see who's going to make it all the way to the final, and considering that there are so many Bayern players left, it should be good. It should be really good. So let's talk about the team. Let's talk about the teams before I go into the Bayern players, or should I do Bayern players first before I go into the teams? Let's talk about the Bayern players. So for that, I might as well just show my screen. So for that, as you guys might be able to tell, yeah. So the Bayern players for Germany. Woo! So in that case, we have Manuel Neuer, who, yeah, let's talk about Manuel Neuer. So Manuel Neuer, as you guys might be aware of, is pretty awesome. I think he's been one of the standout. He's been the standout keeper in the Euros. And just for that, I think that, you know, he deserves a lot of respect. You know, he's the only keeper to have not conceded a goal, from what I believe. So that's another crazy thing. You know, not conceding a goal. Of course, that has to do a lot with the defense in front of him. But considering that we didn't really have fullbacks, we have Hector, and we had Hervidis for most part on the right, whereas now we have Kimmich, who isn't a right back either. So considering that we don't really have a right back and we still done that well, I think that deserves a lot of respect that he's not conceded a goal. So in that case, Neuer for me so far, when he's been called into action, he's been there as well. So for me so far, he gets an 8 and 8.5, something along those lines. Difficult to judge, but as it's the case with keepers most of the time. But yeah, that's just what I think. Next up, Mario Götze, who, he's been struggling in the first 2 games, I'll be honest here. He's been struggling in the first 2 games, but I think in the last game, he did really well. I think the last game, he had a lot of chances, he got in a lot of good positions, and if he had been a little bit more fortunate, he would have gotten a goal. So in that case, you know, play like the last game, which essentially means we need to have Götze, we need to have Gomez, we need to have Müller, and then play like he did last time, and that should be pretty good. So that's what I would say about Götze. Overall, though, I think he gets probably a 7, maybe a 6.5, just because he was basically non-existent in the first 2 games. Next up, Thomas Müller. Now, Thomas Müller, yeah, same situation really with Thomas Müller, that, you know, he's been pretty invisible in the first 2 matches, and really like the last match or whatever, he's really, you know, improved. He's really shown that, you know, he can play, and now obviously in the last match, but in the first 2 matches he's been pretty poor, to be fair. And although his finishing was pretty poor in the last game, the fact is that he got into those dangerous positions. Yes, it might have not been a, you know, 5-star performance from him in his last match against Northern Ireland, I believe it was, but still, you know, when you get into those positions, you need to convert. But ultimately, he did play well to get into those positions. His overall game was pretty good, so that's what I think about Thomas Müller. I'd give him probably a 7, just a little bit higher than Götze, just a little higher, but still not that high too. Next up, Boateng, what can I give Boateng? I mean, honestly, realistically speaking, I'll give him a 10 out of 10. Yeah, he's done everything right. He's been there defensively. He's, you know, his passes forward have been amazing. Everything so far has been amazing from Boateng. His clearance has been amazing. So there is no criticism with Boateng. I can't give him a criticism. So that's what I'll say about Boateng. There's not that much to say. Next up, Kimmich. Obviously, he's been the man of the moment so far, and tomorrow you guys will know why. I don't think Kimmich should stay as a right back, at least for Bayern. For Germany, yeah, okay, you know what? You're not going to get into the team. You're not going to get into the midfield at all in Germany. You know, with Gundogan there, with Khedira. Yeah, Schweinsteiger might leave, okay, but then you still have Kroos. You have all the likes of those kind of players that plays regularly in midfield, and just, you know, they're just at a much higher level. Not saying that Kimmich won't ever get to that level, but looking at the shortage of fullbacks, especially right back, yeah, I think he should maybe play as a right back for Germany, but definitely not for Bayern. That's what I think. But Kimmich, he's only played 1 game, so there's not much really to rate. But as far as last game, I'll give him a 9 out of 10. Yes, he was amazing offensively, but he really didn't have anything to do defensively. And you know what? That's a bit harsh faulting him for something that he didn't have to do. So I'll give him a 10 out of 10. But just note that that's just because Northern Ireland, they didn't really push forward, they didn't really attack. So that's the case here. Next up, Matt Hummels. Now, I believe he had like this. I think it was the very first game. He had the very first game or the second game where he started, and he had like he had really nervous 10-15 minutes. But since then, he's just been solid as a rock. So for that, I'll give him a 9.5. I think overall, you can see the quality that him and Boateng have together, and that's why I'll give him a 7.5. That's what I think. And that's in terms of Germany's players. Yeah, and that's next up, Poland. Now, Poland, Lewandowski, I'll be honest with you guys, I've not seen the match against Ukraine, so I can only judge the first two matches. In the first match, I have to say that I didn't think that he was that great. I mentioned it already, but I think that he just dropped too deep too many times. And instead of staying up there, as a striker, I didn't think that he did that enough. But against Germany, I thought that he was much better. He actually went for it. He actually stayed up there, and he had that one good chance, but then Boateng blocked it. So he was there to create those chances. The chances never came, so he couldn't really convert them. So that's all I say about Lewandowski. Oh, like I said, I didn't see the match against Ukraine. All I saw was that he missed the chance, but I'm not going to obviously judge him just on that because I don't know whether he was playing amazing that match or whether he wasn't playing amazing that match. So I'll give Lewandowski an 8. I think an 8 sounds pretty good. Next up, Austria. Now, David Alaba, who's been eliminated. Now, he's not a midfielder. He's not a midfielder. I know he loves playing midfield, but for me, he's not a midfielder. And the reason for that is that the most effective the most threatening moments from David Alaba was when he was running on the wings and then trying to cross the ball into the box. So for me, that just highlights how good he is. So overall, I didn't think he was that bad in midfield, but he just every time he went on the wings, he was so much better. So for me, that should have been pretty obvious that he should not be playing in midfield. But he's still playing in midfield, and it's a shame that he's out. But that's just the way it is. So overall, I'll give him a 7. I like 7.5. I'll give him a 7.5 actually. Yeah, and that's David Alaba. Next up, Renato Sanchez. Yeah, first match he came on as a substitute. Second match I don't think he played, and the last match when he came on he really added a little bit of energy. He lost the ball quite a few times, but every time he did get the ball and didn't lose it, he just ran forward, created a lot. So in that case, he's that kind of risky player that if it were when he gets the ball, he's either going to create something or he's going to give the ball away, which is why I don't think he would work under Pep Guardiola. And the reason for that is because obviously under Pep Guardiola you want to pass the ball quickly. You don't want to lose the ball, because losing the ball means you're risking a chance. That's what I think. Yeah, that's what I think I think he will work under Ancelotti, because under Ancelotti we're playing much faster. At least that's what we're all led to believe, that we're playing much faster. And in that case, his speed really from midfield can really help us. And overall, the 3 matches, I thought the one against Iceland, I thought he did really well in that one. I don't actually know how he played in that match. All I know is that at that time I thought he did really well. So that's just what I'm going off. That I thought that he did really well in that match. Although right now I can't remember how he did in that match whatsoever. And against Hungary, I don't know if he played against Austria. I really don't know. But against Hungary, like that, I thought he was the one that really added a little bit of energy to the team, and for that I give him a good rating. So overall, I think for me he gets a 7.5 as well. I think that he should play more. But he's only a kid, so I'm not gonna say anything just yet. Next up, Thiago. Now Thiago, when he's come on for Spain, he hasn't really excelled. He's been there. He's been creating some magic moments. He had a really good chance, and I believe it was the first game against Czech Republic. But besides that, he hasn't really influence the play the way that we know, the way that Iniesta has been doing so far. So for that, I will give Thiago a 7. Like I don't think he's been bad, but he hasn't really been good either. Yeah, maybe good, okay, but it's on a lower end of good. So I'll give him a 7. Next up, Kingsley Coman. I thought every time he's been playing, he's been pretty amazing. Yes, I really do think so. I think the first match, you could clearly see the evidence of him coming on and how much he changed the match. Against Albania, I don't think I've watched that match. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think I've watched that match. And against Switzerland is the match where he played from the beginning, right? Yeah. So no, I've watched all France matches, and I should have seen the Albania match. So in that case, yeah, I don't know if he played or not. I just can't remember. But overall, Kingsley Coman for me so far, he's been very impressive, and for me, he's one of the standout players so far. What do I give him? I'll give him 8. I think an 8 is fair assessment of Kingsley Coman. Yes, he's not been that productive at all, but I think that just him being on pitch really lends that kind of danger to France squad that they don't really have from the wings. So that's just what I think. Yeah, let's say I'm not gonna make a Copa America video today. That's for tomorrow. That's the Bayern play. That's the Bayern play. So let's actually talk about the matchups. Yes, the matchups. And the reason for that is pretty simple. It's important to know who's going to win, and you guys obviously want to know. So since I know everything, let me tell you who's going to win. So let's start off with Switzerland versus Poland. Now, Poland have Lewandowski, right? Poland have Lewandowski. Switzerland, they've not actually impressed me so far. They've been there, but they've not quite been there. So they've just been hanging around. They're not excelling. They're not doing bad, but they've just been there. Whereas Poland, they've been pretty great defensively as well. So with having Lewandowski up front as well, that's always going to be dangerous. Being good defensively and having Lewandowski up front, I'd watch out. I would watch out. So I'm going with Poland win. I think a 2-1 Poland win. No, 2-0 Poland win. Next up, Croatia versus Portugal. Now everyone's been saying that Croatia should win this. I think that Portugal is going to win. I honestly think that Portugal is going to win this, and the reason for that is actually pretty simple. Croatia, they've got a very good midfield. There's no denying that. They've got a really good midfield and a pretty good attack. Not a great attack, but a pretty good attack. But the thing with Portugal is that they have more moments players. And what I mean by moments players is players that that can just create a little bit of spark. And what I mean by that is obviously Ronaldo. You know he's gonna get a goal. He's basically a goal guarantee. So just for that, Croatia will have to score at least a goal. So they've got Ronaldo, they got Quaresma. Yeah, he's not going to play much, but they've still got Quaresma who can create that little bit of magic. They've got Nani who can create that little bit of magic. All these players that can just create a little bit of magic. Now, Quaresma and Nani not as consistent, but they can still create that little bit of magic in a match. So just for that, I think that Portugal will win it. So I think they'll win it by a 2-1 margin. I think that they'll win 2-1. And that's what I think on that match. Next up, Wales versus Northern Ireland. Now, I think that Wales are going to win it. I'll be totally honest. I don't see an upset happening here. Wales, you've got Bale. You've got the best player from both teams on the pitch. So the chances are that Wales are going to win it. Overall, Wales team is much better than the Northern Ireland team. So just for that, I think Wales are going to win it. I really do. Next up, Hungary versus Belgium. Now, Belgium have not actually impressed me. I know everyone's been saying, Belgium's the dark horse and whatnot. And I thought so myself too. But they've not been impressed. They've not impressed me whatsoever in this Euro. So, but Hungary, do I think that Belgium's going to beat Hungary? Yes, I do. I don't think there's going to be an upset here. I think that Belgium just have too much individual quality. And just for that, I think that Belgium are going to win 2-1. 2-1 as well. So a lot of twos. The Euros of twos. Right there. Next up, Germany versus Slovakia. Now Germany, just too many good players. The same thing as kind of like Belgium. Too many good players for Slovakia, and the defense has been really solid. The only thing that hasn't been solid was the attack, and that has basically resolved itself with the last match. Because now they're going to be very confident. Now they're going to be very dangerous, and they're going to be playing on a very high level. So depending on obviously if Gomez is still up front, if he will start, it could be a very one-sided match. That one, basically the same as the Northern Ireland match. Next up, Italy versus Spain. Now Spain have not actually impressed me. I know this is like a cliche thing to say just because now obviously I believe they came second in their group, so now this is kind of like a cliche thing to say, but they've not really impressed me throughout the whole tournament. Yes, they've been very good, but most of the times like the goals came from they don't have that kind of goal threat in my opinion. Morata, yes, Morata is the ultimate clutch moment, a clutch player, and I mentioned that before, that when it matters the most he will score, but other than that he won't score whatsoever. So does this match matters? Will he score? Yes. Will it be enough? I don't think so. I really don't. But Italy themselves, they've not really impressed me. Yes, for everyone else, they look like the favourites. For me, I just think, nah, not yet. You have to prove yourself more. So for me, Italy, I don't see Italy winning it all. But I do see them beat Spain. I do feel they're gonna beat Spain. I do feel it's gonna be a close one though. I do feel it's gonna be 1-1, then go to extra time. I think Italy's gonna win it by a goal in the in 102nd minutes. That's what I think is going to happen. Yeah, so next up, France versus the Republic of Ireland. Now, France, they just have too much individual quality. And whereas Republic of Ireland, I don't think they can actually do that. I'll be honest here, I don't think they can do it against France. And that's why I'll go with a France win. I think they're going to win 3-0. I think they're going to actually play really good in that match and really show it's their Euros, essentially, that they're playing at home. And they're not going to be underestimated. So, for me, France will win 3-0. Next up, England versus Iceland. England will win. No, they won't. No, they won't. Iceland will win. Will they? I don't. That one's difficult to call. Because these are like the matches that England will bottle. And it's coming from someone that lives in England. These are the matches that England will bottle. So it's the match where everyone underestimates and then they lose. So in that case, will they win? Will they lose? I don't know. I really can't tell you. I really can't. And that, considering it's Iceland, that says a lot. Because Iceland, they're not really known as a football giant. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip a coin. If it's heads, England will win. If it's tails, Iceland will win. And it's tails. Iceland wins, and that was actually tails. Yeah, I'm not cheating or anything, but I think Iceland. No, I don't think I don't need to think because the coin told me Iceland will win. So let's just go with a score. Iceland will win 2-1, and a 1 goal from England will be scored by Vardy. Here, you've got my predictions now, ladies and gentlemen. They're all 100% true. The coin spoke, I spoke, and that's all there is to it, ladies and gentlemen. As always, people, thanks for watching. Rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. I'll see you guys tomorrow with a Kimmich and a Copa America video. I just love saying that, Copa America. And until then, bye and have a nice day.